He wasn't able to speak until he was almost 4 years old, and his teachers said he would never amount to much. Was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. Fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. At age 11, he was cut from his team after being diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency, which made him smaller in stature than most kids his age. At 30 years old, he was left devastated and depressed after being unceremoniously removed from the company he started. A high school dropout whose personal struggles with drugs and poverty culminated in an unsuccessful suicide attempt. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and that he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Rejected by Decca recording studios, who said, "We don't like their sound, they have no future in show business." His first book was rejected by 27 publishers. His fiancée died, failed in business, had a nervous breakdown, and was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never tried anything new.
All right, we're going to have 3 volunteers share for today. Do I have a first volunteer who would like to share? All right, Tanner, will you share for us?
So, 3 things that are valuable in my house.
Oh, about our video first, buddy. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think it's about, like, kind of confused and also not. So,
You want us to come back to you, Tanner?
yeah.
All right. Derek, will you share, why do you think we watched that video?
We watched that video because it shows that if you finished everything, that means you haven't done anything new.
Excellent. Thank you, Derek. Anybody else would like to share? Fernanda?
Okay. I think that once you fail, you can start over again, because no matter how much you lose, you can always start something new. And it doesn't matter how much time you're thrown away, you've been removed, you can still do something new.
Excellent. Thank you, Fernanda. And do we have one more volunteer that would like to share? I'll get you 2 your raffle tickets. All right. Kiana, will you be our last sharer?
So, if you haven't done anything and you haven't failed, that's not really good, because you mean you haven't been like going out trying new things. You've just been sticking to the thing you're most good at.
Excellent. Yeah, those are all good reasons why you watched it. The reason why I picked this is some of you guys last week told me that multiplication was hard and difficult for you, but it's something that you just have to keep practicing on. My favorite one in there was about Albert Einstein. Do you guys know who Albert Einstein is? So he is a scientist. He is typically considered one of the smartest people that ever lived. And his teachers, when he was going through elementary school and even through middle school, said that he was dumb. He wouldn't amount to anything. So he actually didn't go to college and get a professional job. He actually ended up working something like the post office, but then he realized, hey, I really am smart. And he then went on to be one of the best college professors. He won Nobel Prizes. He is still regarded today, even though he lived about 60 years ago, as one of the brightest and best people. Even though his teacher said years ago that he was not very smart, he didn't give up later on in life. Now, what we're going to do, like always, is we're going to go through our agenda, and then I'm going to send you guys to your breakout rooms to continue practicing your 30-second speaking. Here is, oops, I have to share my screen first. So here is our agenda for today. So like always, we have our schedule up top. Like always, you have your morning video, so you need to be writing in your morning section. You have your reading log, so there's week 6 that we're on right now. You have in your benchmark section a new story to read. You'll notice this one is longer, it's 12. It starts on page 12, goes to 19. It's 7 pages long. You're not taking notes, you're not annotating on it at all today. You're just reading or listening to it. And how you get to it is, again, just click on that benchmark section and we'll take you to your sign-in. It's going to be in the same book that you were reading before. So it's in that same benchmark reader. So again, what that looks like, it's that same, oops, just takes me a while to get there from the teacher side. So it's that same reader that you had the townspeople, the first townspeople in solving problems. So it's the same book, you're just going to page 12 and you're reading or listening to 19. If you don't understand it, that's okay, because we're going to discuss it tomorrow. You don't have to take notes, you don't have to take annotations, you're just reading and listening to it. Your next part is you need to complete a build, write, and reflect. It's in your class notebook in your benchmark section that we'll look at when we're done with our agenda. You need to write in your, oops, I didn't tell you where, this is in your writing section. You're going to be doing your letter about the shellfish. So remember, you're pretending that you're someone affected by the shellfish now, and you're writing that letter. For math, we're back to our Vision Math, so you have your 2 videos to watch, your visual learning and your another look. You have our YouTube video to watch, and then your practice buddy. You have your extra math like always. You have the next 2 chapters in our read aloud, so you're clicking and listening to them. And then your project for your story writing. Remember, it's not due until December, but your rough drafts are going to be due at the end of October. And I'm going to be popping in to your guys' writing, giving you comments and feedback throughout this month. Then we have our small groups for today. Remember, if you want to change groups, let me know and I can switch you around. This is our build, reflect, write. So this is what that build, reflect, write looks like. So again, go to your class notebook. And it said it was in your benchmark tab, so you're going to that benchmark tab. Jayla, we're back to sharing yours again since it was at the top. Build, reflect, write, it's at the bottom. And this is going to kind of do a summary of the other pages that we've read. So pages 4 to 9, your benchmark reader. Can you go back and visit them? You have that link to click on. So your first part is you're building your knowledge. So it says record your response to this week's reading. Identify the problems the government and townspeople had and the solutions they provided. So you guys read 2 stories, solving problems and the first townspeople. So you need to tell me what the problem was in each, and then you need to tell me how they solved it. Did they solve the problem of shellfish by giving everyone $10,000? Did they solve the problem of those newcomers coming to the town of Sparks by saying, here's your own town to live in? So how did they solve them? Then this next part, remember, if you don't know what a word is, look it up, ask me for help. It says assess. So assess whether each government was effective in solving problems and why. So you need to tell me, was their solution a good solution and why? Was it a bad solution and why? So think about that shellfish problem, think about the town of Sparks problem, and if they were good solutions or not. Your next one, this was our question of how can government influence the way we live. So you're going to come up with some answers for this. How does the government influence or help us in the way they live? Do they build roads for us? Do they give us free cars? How does it help us live? Your last one is, imagine that you're someone who has been affected by a major national disaster. So that can be a hurricane, an earthquake, a volcano, even if you live in Hawaii. You're going to write a journal entry describing what happened and how you're helped by someone working for a government relief agency. So what happened to you and how did the government help you? Use a situation mentioned in solving problems as the basis for your narrative. So if you're stuck on how the government can help you, you can look back on solving problems and see how the government helped those people with those national disasters. Does anyone have any questions on the outline or what's due today? All right. Then what we're going to do, we're going to send you to your breakout rooms. What's going to happen, Fernanda, is I need to figure out a way to gather who you'd want to be in your breakout rooms, because I thought I could just let you pick, but I actually have to assign and say Fernanda goes in this room, Janelle goes in this room, so I have to figure out a way to gather who you want to be in your group. So I'll figure that out for this afternoon, okay? So you guys are going to be in a random one for your first one, and remember, you're just practicing that 30-second speaking of not using ums, not using likes as those fillers. All right, you guys are going to have 4 to 5 people in your room. You guys are going to remember talk for 30 seconds each. Ready? It's gonna send you to your rooms.
Hello.
Hello, Daniel. All right, you guys in a moment are going to go to another breakout room to practice with different people. However, I need Luce. You are going to pick one person from your group that you listen to that you would like to share. So think about from your group, who is the one that you would like to share? It can be yourself or one of your other group mates.
I would like to share about Fernanda. She talked about her Barbies. She said that she had these Barbies and she needed a car because she used this kind of car and it kind of didn't work. So she went to the market and bought a car.
Excellent. Thank you, Luce. All right. You guys are going to go to your breakout rooms for one more section. Just so you guys know, some of you have figured out, some of you haven't. When it tells you the breakout rooms are closing, you have up to a minute before it kicks you out automatically. So if you guys need to finish wrapping up or finish listening to someone speak, you can. It's not going to kick you out right away. It'll give you up to a minute once you see that first message. All right, heading to your next breakout rooms.
Mr. Wembley, you put us in the same group.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't very good. Daniel, did it send you to the same groups?
Yep.
Well, that was not what I was expecting. Tanner, thank you for coming back and letting me know. Alex, did it send you to the exact same group too?
I only had one extra person.
Okay.
Right here.
Sent you to the same one also?
Yeah,
Okay.
it sent me to the same one.
All right. Well then, we'll wait for everyone to come back and join. We're almost there. And then we'll go to our last portion, which means this morning's Zoom might be a little bit shorter than the rest of us. All right. So you guys, I forgot to just share one thing with you about your morning work. Was your shellfish right? I just didn't show you the page. So this is your prompt, remember, you're a citizen of Washington State. You're going to just be writing your letter below. So if you need an example of the letter that we looked at last week in class, you have this letter right here. We've been working on ideas on what you would be. So remember, some of you said you'd be a chef. Some of you said you're going to be a marine biologist. Some of you said you're just going to be a fisherman. So you're writing that letter now, pretend that you're a citizen, and you're telling someone else how this has affected you. All right. Now, for our last part, there's a lot of information. The first, who knows what next week is? Raise your hand if you know what next week is. Fernando, what is next week?
Is it winter or fall? Yeah, it's fall break.
Yeah, so next week is fall break, meaning we have a whole week of no Zoom, no schools. However, That does mean the week after, report cards are coming out. So if you're still behind on your work, you might want to use that week to get caught up. You can still message me on Zoom, I can still help you, but we won't be having these meetings all together. Fernanda, question?
How long will it be?
Fall break?
Yeah.
It's next Monday to next Friday, so it's a week long.
What?
1 week.
This ain't no winter break.
It's not winter break. Winter break is...
It's supposed to be like a month. It's supposed to be like a month.
Oh, that's summer break, Fernanda.
So all that time we have to do all our readers.
Yep, so there'll be no extra work. You won't have any assignments over fall break, so just if you're behind, you might want to use that time to get caught up. Now, your next thing is at some point this week, or maybe next week after fall break, we're in trouble. And what that means is we have, and I'm just kidding, we're not in trouble. But Ms. Diaz or Ms. Oliveira, so either our principal or vice principal, is going to join our Zoom meeting to watch us. So yeah, do you guys remember how sometimes last year the principal would come into Ms. Hankis, Ms. Ava's room and just sit and watch and take notes?
Yeah.
Already kind of awkward, but now they're going to be doing that for our Zoom meeting. Hopefully they only have to do it one time, but if they look at our Zoom meeting and they're like, wow, this is not very good, then they'll be back many, many more times, all right? So I should find out tomorrow what day they're coming, just to give you a heads up. I don't know if they're going to come to like a big group like this, or if they're gonna come to one of our small groups. I have no idea, but I'll find out tomorrow and let you guys know so we can all prepare ourselves. Chris, do you have a question, bud?
My assignments and stuff show up in general now.
They shouldn't, so if you want to stay on afterwards, you can share your screen with me and we'll see what's going on, okay? All right, Mr. Alex, what question do you have for us?
Isn't fall break, since you said 1 week long, isn't it actually 9 days long? Because it's Saturday and Sunday.
If you count the weekends from before fall break and after, it's 9 days long. Which, if you count just regular school days, is 5, but if you go by Alex, it's like twice as long, which probably sounds better. So, good thing. All right. Any other questions? All right. Luce and Alex. Oh, Cesar, you have a question. What is yours?
So when we did our second group, we ended up together again.
I know, that's why I kicked everyone out. I have to figure it out. Also during, and this you don't have to worry about, but during fall break, I'm going to try to figure out using Microsoft Teams to do our meetings instead of Zoom, because they actually put some new features in that are going to be more helpful than our Zoom one. But yeah, that's one of them. It also lets me do the breakout rooms easier for you guys, so yeah. Mr. Allen?
What if you try the groups, the breakout rooms, on the afternoon?
I'm gonna try to figure it out this afternoon for our Zoom breakout, so you guys can pick where you want to go. But yeah, I have to see if I can get that to work. All right, Luce and Alex, I'm gonna have you guys stay on. The rest of you, you're going to say goodbye and sign off. Remember, if you need help, find me, message me on Dojo, or